Hey everyone, welcome to the daily analysis. Today is July 9th and it's a Monday. And the market's pretty slow, representing kind of your normal Monday action with some slight retraces but not a lot of power movement in the markets today. As far as news, I have tomorrow's calendar up on Forex Factory, and you can see that there's not a lot of news going on tomorrow. Some pound news very early at 4:30 a.m. and then also some very light news throughout the day with some yellow tag events and a few orange tagged events. So nothing that should really impact the markets a lot, but still probably some things worth noting and keeping in mind as you trade. So keep that in mind that there's just not a lot of news going on. So as far as technical setups, that would mean for the most part that those should follow through, that they won't be interrupted by news, and at least we can't blame the news if something doesn't go our way. So not a whole lot going on there. Next thing to do is to check out our terms and agreement. We do this for every daily analysis because the U.S. government is very strict about their rules for giving investment advice. So we want to make it clear that we're not licensed or qualified to give investment advice and tell you how to risk your money. This is for educational purposes only. We're not registered with the government or anything like that. So be aware of that. Make sure you understand that, and then we can jump into our analysis. First thing we're going to look at is the euro dollar. And like I said, kind of we had that settling today where the euro did bounce a few pips, but it wasn't really like a strong rally off of this support zone that we see here. It's just kind of sitting still. So as far as whether this level here that we see in red is going to be broken or not, and prices head lower, you don't really have much to base that off of yet. I would think that sometime in the middle of the week, at least by Thursday or Friday at the very end of the week, we'll have a pretty good idea of whether euro dollar is trying to bounce and get back up in the 1.3 area, or if it's headed down below 1.2. And I think that'll be made clear throughout the next few days. Basically, just seeing how price action corresponds with this level. One of the things that I always tell you guys to look for is a break of these major levels, a retest, and then a continuation. And I think that's probably a fair assessment of what we could see here if the euro does remain bearish, which is probably the majority of traders' expectancy. Not that overall expectancy necessarily determines where price is going, because often the market is playing tricks on us. But I think that there's definitely a lot of euro bear sentiment that could follow through, and I don't think that the euro dollar has touched nearly as low of prices as it could get to. I think there's a lot more potential for low prices than what we're seeing here. Pound dollar is somewhat similar, except for I think that pound dollar, the resistance area that it's in is a little more major, has a little more support here, so we could get a better bounce. Also, the weekend didn't close quite as strong in the bearish direction for pound as it did for euro. So I think that the pound probably has a little more strength than the euro as of right now. And again, that's just something that throughout the week we're going to have to wait and see how that follows through. But this looks like a little decent bounce bar, and we could see a follow through up until our next resistance level that I have highlighted in yellow here. And that would not be outside of my expectations. So pound just something that I'm keeping a close eye on, and trying really not to trade pound dollar too much because there's just so much choppy resistance, a lot of blocks, so to speak, in the way of pound moving. So I'm kind of trying to avoid trading that, picking either euro dollar or pound yen or something if I want to trade those currencies, and kind of switching them up and trading with other currencies, so that I don't have to trade pound dollar for those reasons that I mentioned. Okay. Odd dollar is falling pretty significantly. Since last weekend, it's Thursday and Friday were pretty bearish bars, and then today started off pretty bearish, but didn't really follow through with a lot of authority. You can see that today's bar has retraced back up, and it's not really going to be closing with a very full bar. Now again, we are at this very critical level, and it's probably just struggling to break this level, and that's why we're seeing some tails and some things like that as it's trying to get lower. So this is something where it might be actually bottoming out and trying to finish this upward leg that we see here, because this is a pretty significant rally to the upside. And so this could just be, we have a retracement here, and we have a retracement here. So there's nothing to say that this isn't actually going to rally up and touch much higher prices. But at the same time, we are at a very key level, and price does seem to want to be pushed down at this point. So again, that's just a level that we're at, and it's kind of one of those things where, unfortunately, we have to wait to get a better idea of the direction, because there's not a clear direction when it's sitting right in that zone. So my advice in general would be that if it does break through with a lot of authority and then break through these highs, we're probably in a pretty good long position to get up here and test at least the top of this channel, and then possibly this channel as well. So definitely a lot of room for odd to go if it would decide to rally up more. But we just have to see how it conquers this level and what it does with that over the next week. Okay, USDCAD. USDCAD is trying to be bullish, kind of like the odd USD is trying to be bearish. But just like the odd dollar, the bar is not finishing with a lot of strength today. We can see that it kind of retraced and was a little bit weak. And that's to be expected when you're struggling with levels. Of course, we always talk about the levels. Here is not a major level, but it is. It has been tested before, so not totally surprised that it's not able to break to the upside. And keep in mind that since this double top here where we peaked down, we are still moving relatively consistently in a downward direction. So this could just be a little pop and get ready for retrace back to the downside, and that would not surprise me one bit. So keep that in mind. Again, it's very similar to the odd dollar, just of course in the inverse direction. But depending on if we have a bearish bar following this tail, that would probably be a great short signal to follow through at least to the top of this channel. So keep your eye on that. Okay, Euro Pound is one that I shared with you on Friday because it broke through this level in this descending triangle with a lot of authority. And you can see that today's bar is kind of just a stall bar. It's not doing much. Again, prices tend to be floating today, not really moving all that much. However, sometimes a stall bar can be a pretty good catalyst for a very strong next bar. We see that quite often, that you have a power bar, you have just kind of a 1 or 2 day stall, and then a continuation of that power move over the next few days. So I think that's still definitely a possibility with Euro Pound. I think that this is a pretty good short opportunity, and because of this level's significance and the fact that it broke through this and the lowest low here, to me that just means that there's a lot of potential for it to go to very low lows. And of course, if you jump on that at the right time, you can end up making a very significant percent of your account, or just a number of pips with Euro Pound. So just keep that in mind and make sure that you pay attention to how the next day follows through after that stall bar. Okay, and then EUROAUD and EUROCAD are the two that I've been looking at as far as the most bearish sentiment, because I think that the odd and the CAD both have the ability to really get stronger and maintain some strong momentum. And so the EUROAUD, obviously just a free falling pair over the past few weeks, and then just again today there's kind of some floating back up with the euro, but not a lot of strength or pop. Still definitely a lot of bearish momentum. I mean, this arc downward move that we see here is very strong, and my suspicion is that it's not quite done. And if you look at the EuroCAD, I'm not going to look at the EuroCAD right now, but if you look at the EuroCAD, you'll see a similar type of momentum in the downward direction. So I certainly think that the EUROAUD, assuming that odd strength can continue and it can gain some of that strength, I certainly think that the EUROAUD could be a pair that continues to head down with very steep and strong momentum, and I would not be surprised if it continued to do that. Alright, I think that's about it for the major pairs that I wanted to cover today. Hopefully that was helpful and beneficial to you. I think that some of those key levels, whether they're broken short or long, are going to present some good trade opportunities, and definitely something that we can take advantage of as traders. So keep your eyes on those, and make sure that you are ready when the situation presents itself. Good luck trading, and I'll talk to you soon.